At Marc Estrin's home, here to talk a little bit about some of the work that Marc's been doing. So anyway, what makes one write these books, and what seems to be the common theme or idea that seems to permeate the novels that you've written and the future novels that seem to be on the horizon?
Yeah. You know, I started writing with Golem Song. That was the first book. And it wasn't about anything except this crazy phone call that I got. And the crazy character who would make such a crazy phone call. And then that developed and found some growth in itself. So I didn't have a plan except to write that down, and then the first book was kind of characterological, except that by the time it was finished, it turned out to be about a larger thing than this particular character, which was the notion of people who feel that they're in some way chosen. Chosen to write the script, chosen to write the world, etc., etc. So it turned out to be something bigger than I had planned. The next book I wrote was quite different. It was Insect Dreams, and that was the basic idea of seeing what Kafka's man turned into a cockroach could do if he did something good instead of something bad. And then that turned out to be about the development of the atomic bomb. And so these books are not written out of a goal to write a book about the atomic bomb or to write a book about chosenness, but rather they come from smaller ideas, and then I find what they're about. But now that I've written 6 novels, and I'm working on 7, only 3 have been published so far, but now that I've written 6 novels, I do see the themes that seem to be common, and that seem to be pushing me, or at least pushing their way into whatever it is that I'm writing about. And I think the one theme that goes through all the books is the theme of Faust and the Faustian bargain that we in our culture have made in return for our knowledge, in return for our technology, in return for our wealth. We have made this deal essentially in the Faustian way with the devil, and that the price has to be paid, and we are paying the price as we live through this, what may be the end of this civilization. I have, concerns with the way that works out behaviorally in individuals, about the way it works out ideologically in different groups. The next book that's going to come out essentially concerns the religious right. There's a lot of concern, I find, which surprised me, with religious underpinnings of behavior and ideology. I certainly didn't sit down and think of myself as a religious writer. I don't even think of myself as a religious person. But I'd been labeled a Jewish writer by some critics, and that has interested me. And I've said, well, what does that mean? And so the Arnold Hitler book turned out to explore. It started out just to be about a guy with a really nice guy with a crappy name, but then it turned out as a fairly serious exploration of Judaism. And so all these things turn out to be about larger themes than I think they are going to be. But Faust is a big one, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, inventions that get away from us, what kind of behavior, what kind of ideology, what are the myths going on, are the things that are common in the books. They're not books that are just about what the books are about.
Nice, excellent.
That sounds like 3 minutes.
That does, that sounds good.